Susan Booth shares with Marcel Proust a belief that the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. When Susan arrived at the Alliance 10 years ago, she looked at our town with those new eyes, which meant we did too. And what we found looking back were stories. As the Jennings Hertz Jr. Artistic Director of the Alliance Theater, telling stories is Susan's responsibility and her passion. And not just any stories. Stories that engage and connect, innovate and revitalize the human spirit. Stories that bind us one to one and each to each until we look at each other as if for the first time.
When I first moved to Atlanta, I was concerned about not being able to work. I mean, that's why we all leave and go to New York and LA, is so that we can work. And I told her that I had been in LA. There are so many citrus trees and the fruit just falls and rots. And that's what was happening to me. And she said, well, we'll use you.
She was like, I'm here for you. And from that very first day in her office with the big basket of lollipops on her desk filled with candy, it's always been this incredibly welcoming place.
Whether it's the chairman of your board or it's an intern in your office, it's incredibly beneficial to have a huge amount of compassion.
Susan is always about doing things better. It's and always striving in it, and it's an inspiration.
I had an idea too, and that kind of appealed to her, so we tried that, we teched it a few times, and it turned out to be very successful. And that's one of the fun things about working with Susan. She likes to, seek ideas from other folks. Not everything has to come from her.
Have someone who's your direct boss for so long and see them in so many stressful, intense situations and still be able to come out on the other side and say that you think their character is absolutely unassailable.
When I think of Susan as an artistic director at the Alliance Theater, I think of someone who is wicked smart. Smart in how she does her daily job, smart in the choices she makes. The work she's done here has gone on to do great things nationally and represent this community.
She runs a major theater, the largest theater in the Southeast. She's able to talk to actors, to talk to board members, to talk to designers and crew like she would talk to anyone. She's a superwoman, basically.
And at the end of the day, when it all comes together, you sit in the audience at the Alliance Theater or you're backstage as an actor waiting to come on, and you realize that you're a part of something that is much bigger than you are.
Susan's Theater 1 to 100 vision is to create the powerful experience of shared theater for audiences of every age. These include theater for the very young, drama camps, teacher training, professional development, and the Collision Project, which just celebrated its own 10th birthday.
Susan put a lot of faith into her education staff and saw a real need for the arts to be put back into schools where they've been cut tremendously over recent years.
There's probably no better example in the United States of a major regional theater taking on new work than the plays put forward through the Candida competition.
Susan's role in the community is really one of pretty profound leadership. The way she has given opportunities to young playwrights from across the country.
I first started working at the Alliance in February on a show called Carapace, which was the Candida Award winner. And what I was really impressed with was, A, the fact that she made time to sort of make her way around and be part of this developing play, but more so that she took the time to sit down and chat with one of the new designers who was coming in on this developing play.
Feel the power in the room.
Wow. I've never even been in here.
This is my first time.
I didn't know she had an office.
I feel the power when I walked in. I felt it.
Well, you feel the love, too.
And I sit there and I kind of fantasize what would it be like Susan Booth. We all do this. It's a common thing we all do.
Susan doesn't like bullshit.
No matter who else is in the room, Susan Booth is the smartest person in the room.
Under Susan's leadership, the Alliance launched Alice Walker's The Color Purple to Broadway, where it won a Tony Award. Sister Act the Musical, which went on to London and Broadway. And in a remarkable commercial partnership with Universal Pictures, GE, Fox Entertainment, Susan fostered the production of Bring It On, the musical.
Collaborating with Susan on Bring It On was a dream come true. We'd always wanted to find a project to work together on, and when we knew we wanted to bring It On to a regional theater, there was no other theater we wanted to work with but Susan and Max at the Alliance.
Susan produces 11 plays a year and directs 2 herself, but nothing prepared her for the challenge of Jesus Christ Superstar Gospel. It required a chorus of 36 singers, 23 actors, and a director with nerves of steel to match the strength of her creative vision.
Like Jesus Christ Superstar, of course, and then recently with August Osage, you see the heart in it. And it's basically just human life unfolding in front of you. And it's so real because that's how Susan approaches.
Well, she always says, be true to the story.
Working with Susan on Into the Woods has been sort of fantastic for a lot of reasons. Obviously, it's a dream show for any designer, but Susan, I think once she develops a relationship with whether it's a designer or an actor, and she instills this kind of trust in you, she lets you just kind of run and do your own thing.
Most recently, Susan was able to bring home the world premiere of Ghost Brothers of Darkland County, a riveting Southern Gothic musical by legendary music producer T-Bone Burnett, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer John Mellencamp, and writer Stephen King. It wasn't until they found Susan that these legends not only found the theater they wanted to produce it, but the woman they wanted to direct it. When asked what made her want to work in the theater, Susan once said she learned from her uncle, Cameron Booth, a celebrated painter, not only to appreciate the beauty of art, but to understand that living as an artist is as honorable a pursuit as that of a banker, a doctor, or a teacher, and that to do it well requires not only the same discipline, commitment, and conviction, but an ability to which only the artist can lay claim. The ability to see with new eyes.
This was earned by every artist and every craftsman, every teacher, every volunteer, every staff and board member of the Alliance Theater. But this belongs to the people of Atlanta, Georgia, who come down to their national theater with its local address to spend some time inside the head, the heart, and the story of the other guy. I thank them for their curiosity, for their empathy, and for their big-hearted support.
We who call this theater and this city home are so deeply honored to work with you, Susan. May your passion, creativity, and vision carry you and all of us forward into your next amazing decade.